Hey guys! So this video I'm going to be talking about how to color eyes. And I was supposed to talk about that in the last video, but I somehow forgot. I forgot a lot of things in my last video. It was planned out and everything, and I just forgot so many things. So coloring eyes, I'm going to start with coloring the whites first. And most people, or most artists, say that you should avoid using just like straight up white for coloring eyes. So I tend to change it just a little bit depending on the lighting. This is Luca, my original character, and his color scheme is usually purple and pink. So I tend to give it like a slight purple tint, like you can barely see it. And then let me just do some shading really fast. I'm gonna, maybe this one. That's a little dark, but I'm just gonna leave it like that just because I'm too lazy to change it. Okay, so let's color the actual eye. So his eyes are gold, and I'm gonna do the base color, which is yellow. And I'm gonna say right now that coloring eyes for me is the same as drawing eyes, as in I do different eye shapes for different characters and I color eyes differently for the characters as well. So the base color is down. And for shading, some people would go to the color bar and then just go darker and then shade using that. But I don't like how that looks. For shading, most people will tell you that you should do a different color, like you shouldn't just go darker because the color is bad, and So for me, let me undo that. I'm gonna do a clipping layer. I go to the, what's the word? Adjacent, I think, right? Is that the term? I go to the adjacent color, which is orange, and I'll sometimes just use that as shading. It's way more bright, and as some of you may know, my art is known for being pretty bright, so I like to use that. Or I would go for like a darker, like maybe almost brown. This is pretty brown, so pretty much brown. There you go. So now I'm going to go to the pupil, which I'll usually use a dark brown. Let's see. I don't know how to go about this. Maybe I'll just give him the normal pupils that I give him, which is, he's not a human. He's kind of a demon, so I give him very slender pupils, long and slender. So it all depends on your character. And then, like I said, because he's a demon, I like to give him kind of like the thin kind of boop, kind of like a cat eye kind of thing right there. I don't really like how that looks. Let me change that up a bit. Boop. Maybe like that. What I also do with his eyes is that sometimes when the brown shade is too dark, the pupil kind of gets lost in there. So I like to give it like a little outline of the base color, like that. See that? Boop. I do this for most of my characters anyways, but I almost always do it for this guy. And then I do these little lines right here with the base color, and then I go to the shade, the first shade, which is the orange, and then I kind of just do this whole deal. I don't know. My coloring techniques are very like cartoony. They're not, super professional, and they're not very blended. It's just kind of boop right there. But I mean, that's what you guys signed up for, right? Here is a doodle of another character I have. I didn't actually have a doodle of another character in hand, so I had to draw this as fast as I could, but here it is. His name is Jules. I don't know I don't know how many of you guys actually follow like my characters, so I just have to introduce you to them, I guess. His name is Jules, and he has very light blue eyes. And I color his eyes way differently than I do Luca's. So first I'm going to do the whites of the eyes because that's just how I start. And I go with white first and then I change it later. So I'm going to give his eyes, or the whites of his eyes, like a very light blue tint. You can hardly tell the difference, but I like how it looks. If I can tell the difference, then it's fine to me. I might end up changing the light blue just because his eyes are also blue, and I don't know if it's gonna like look bad, so I can change that later. I'm just gonna name this layer whites. I don't know if that's a good layer name. I'm gonna hide the skin layer and the white layer really fast so I can color the base. Very light blue. His eyes are super light, almost white now that I think about it. With Luca's eyes, I did the shading right after, but for this guy, I do his pupils right after. So let me get a slightly darker blue, and then I do a circle. So let me see, I got the circle thing. What is it called? Snap? The circle snap. Let me see. Maybe like this. Let me adjust that so that's looking the right direction. There we go. So this is how I draw his pupils. If you remember Luca, his pupils were kind of like oval like this, but Jules does not have those pupils. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna, he's looking two different directions. So I'm just gonna leave his pupils like this. They're kind of bugging me, but you know, doesn't matter. I can fix it whenever I want. So I have the base layer right here and the pupils. I'm gonna lock that. And between the base and the pupils, I do a gradient. So gradient. So I go to the gradient tool and you can see I have it in the circular shape because it's either linear or circular. So go to circular and I get a very light blue or maybe even just white. And then from the pupils, I go outwards like that. And you can hardly see it because his eyes are just so light. But it should be kind of like a glowy kind of effect. Just kind of like that. God, his eyes are really bugging me. Maybe I can change this one a bit because gosh dang it. Okay. Having a lot of difficulty. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I have the gradient kind of thing right here. Can you see it? It's kind of hard to see just because his eyes are super light. But if I was to make his eyes way darker, let me see, like this. You can see it's like that. It doesn't look very good because it's a lot better when it's lighter. But if I fixed it, it would look pretty good with that color too. It doesn't really matter. Let me merge all the layers so that everything's on one layer right here. And this is when I do the shading. So for Luca, the shading was like the second part. But for Jules, I shade his eyes at the very last moment. So I'm going to set the layer to multiply and then do this whole deal. There we go. That's good. It's a bit dark, so I'm going to change the opacity a bit. I can just maybe fix one a little bit like that. And then the opacity like that. So see how the blue of the eyes is kind of just, or the whites of the eyes, whatever, is kind of clashing. So I might have to change the hue. Let's see. I'm going to go with purple. And then I'm going to make it very light. So you can hardly, there we go. So that's how I color his eyes. Sometimes I'll go with the thing that I do with Luca, which is I do the little lines like that. That's how I usually color his eyes without the lines, but I like how the lines look, so that's pretty good. And then I usually keep just the center of the pupil like that, or if you want, or if I want, I guess you can just color that in white like that. That's pretty good too. That's actually really cute. I'm gonna keep it like that. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention that when it comes to the line art of the eyes, I tend to color the bottom lashes. So I just use the eyedropper tool and then grabbed the color that I used for his skin. And then I'm going to use, I'm going to use a clipping layer, a clip layer above it, above the line art. Ooh, my voice and my speech, not doing so well. Let me do that real fast. Like that. That's what I tend to do with a lot of my drawings. Not all of them, but almost all of them. Let's see. Cutting it off right there. So that's what I tend to do. And then I also like to do like lighter. Let me see. I chose a lighter color up here and I'm going to go with the pencil tool. And then just like lightly like that. You see that? Can you guys tell? So yeah, I like to do that a lot with a lot of my characters. But yeah, you don't have to do that. It's just something I wanted to point out. I'm changing the hues a bit just to see how it looks. Looks nice. I like it. Very nice. I want to go with blue a little bit. Purple. That's really nice. It's like he has colored eyeliner, but not really. I'm going to keep it at blue. Yeah. Alright, so lastly, I'm going to talk about how I color dark eyes. And when I say dark, I mean really dark, almost black, because some people have really dark eyes. So I'm not going to do a new sketch just because I just don't have the time, but I'm going to pretend he has dark eyes. So I tend to do like a very dark brown. Sometimes I go for black, but see the dark brown? Pretty much just black right here. So what I do for dark color eyes is, here's the base color, dark brown, and then I do the, what is it? Like the actual eye color. So if they have really dark brown eyes, I go for like a lighter brown. Let's see. Maybe put it on the more orangey side. And then I use the pencil tool. And then I do like a quick like that. You can't even see that, can you? Let me do it lighter just for the camera. But I tend not to go this light. I do like that. Kind of like it's supposed to kind of be hugging the pupil. If you could see the pupil like that. I tend to do that. And then I go with white. And then I do like a little thing like that. That's how I tend to color really dark eyes. This tends not to be as light though, so let me lower that a bit. And sometimes I do different colors like let me see. I do this for some blue-eyed people, so I do like that. That looks pretty nice. I like that. Purple, that looks really nice too. Maybe I should keep it at purple just for fun. And then I like to do the thing that I usually do, which is the little lines. So let me get on that real fast. Also, I forgot to mention this again, but I like to do the little gleamy kind of thing. So let me just, boop, maybe like that. I usually just like to do a line like that because, I don't know, that's just my style. There you go. So that they don't look so dead. See, it kind of adds like a little life, you know, it's shining. I do have a character who just has straight up black eyes, kind of like this, but without like the coloring. Where is he? I don't have a picture of him on hand, but his eyes pretty much look like this. And then I do the whites like that. That's what another character looks like. It's very cartoony, and it's just kind of like a joke, like he has dead eyes, but he doesn't really. He's a good guy. So that's all I had for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you try some of these things out. You know, it's more of like a my style kind of thing, but if you want to end up coloring eyes like me, go ahead. I don't, you know, that's fun. That's flattering. This is why I do these videos, right? So I'm trying new things out right now. That looks really cool. Let me tell you, coloring is so fun. It's my favorite thing to do. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I do tutorials every Tuesday, and I do speed paints every Saturday. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a video. And yep, that's it. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye!